Once you have set up your new SurvCE project and are on the Job menu, you will need to set up your GPS receiver profile. To do this, click on the Equipment tab towards the top of the screen. Then select Number 2 GPS Base. You will then be on the GPS Base Setup screen. Under your Current tab, you can select your receiver's manufacturer from a drop-down list, and then use the Model drop-down list to locate the correct model of your receiver. Clicking on the Comms tab will allow you to configure your reference receiver's COM ports. If you are using a cable connection, you can select your port from a drop-down list and adjust the baud rate, parity, stop bits, and data bits. It is recommended, however, that you use the type drop-down list to select Bluetooth, indicating that you are using a Bluetooth connection. In the Bluetooth type drop-down list, you will want to select Windows Mobile. Then select the Setup button to the right. This will take you to the Select a Base Bluetooth Device screen. If you have previously connected devices using Bluetooth, they will appear in the list below. To add a new device to this list, select the Find Device button. This will begin a search for close-by Bluetooth devices. Once SurvCE is finished searching, you will begin the list of available devices. Locate your receiver on the list. NavCom brand receivers will be labeled by their model name followed by their serial number. Then select the OK button. Once your Bluetooth device is shown on the list, you can choose to assign it a unique name or set a PIN number for the device. Once your device settings are configured properly, select the Bluetooth Connect button at the top of the screen. Back on the GPS base screen, you will see your device name appear in the device drop-down list. Now click on the Receiver tab at the top of the screen. In the drop-down list, you should see the model of your receiver displayed. If it is not, use the drop-down list to locate it. To the right, you will see the antenna height offset. This number is associated with your receiver and will automatically appear at the correct antenna height offset. Below the antenna model drop-down list, you can select if your antenna will be mounted vertically or on a slant. Also, you can select the NGS option to subtract the NGS AOAD MT bias from the antenna offset values to get an absolute offset. Please note that this should not be used if you are combining with measurements that were done with relative offsets. Below these options, you will want to enter an antenna height, an elevation mask, and choose a position rate of either 1 Hz, 2 Hz, or 5 Hz. For advanced settings including NMEA files, select the Advanced button. Clicking on the RTK tab at the top of the screen will take you to a screen to set up your linked device. The device drop-down list allows you to choose from a variety of linked devices. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will select Internal UHF Radio. You will notice that most of the other options on the screen have grayed out. Next to the drop-down list is the Settings button. Click on this button and SurvCE will connect your device before taking you to the Configure UHF Radio screen. Here you can choose a communication protocol between TrimTalk, Satel, or Pacific Crest. Power can be set at 100 mW, 200 mW, 500 mW, or 1 watt. Clicking inside the frequency box allows you to enter a unique frequency for your radio to communicate on. Channel spacing can be set at either 12.5 or 25 kHz. You can also set your squelch at either low, medium, or high. And if you click inside the Network ID box, you can enter a unique network ID for your receiver. At the bottom is the Forward Error Connection option. Make sure this option remains unchecked. Once your reference station's internal UHF radio has been configured appropriately, select the green checkbox. Back on the RTK tab of the GPS base menu, at the very bottom, you can choose a message type for the format of data messages you want sent. The drop-down list lets you choose between CMR, CMR+, RTCM 18, 19, 20, 21, version 3, and NavCom proprietary formats. NCT 5E is the recommended format. Once all your linked device and reference receiver settings have been set, then you can click on the Current tab again. At the bottom of the screen, you are given the option of saving your receiver profile. This is useful if you plan on using the same receiver more than once and would like to use the same settings. To do this, select the Save button. You are now asked to enter a name for the configuration file. After you enter a name for the configuration file, you can choose to save it as your default. Click the OK button and you will see your reference receiver profile displayed on the GPS base screen. If you wish to use this profile the next time you start a project in SurvCE, just select the profile and click Load. You also have the option of renaming the profile or deleting it altogether. To connect to the receiver, click on the Connect button at the top of the screen. Select the OK button at the top of the screen to continue. You will now see a base configuration screen. Your GPS reference receiver is almost done configuring, and you are ready to mark your reference position. You are given two options for doing this, either from a new position or from a known position. If you click on the From Known Position tab, you can choose to use a previously surveyed point, which will allow you to inline your reference receiver with a point that has already been measured in your current job and use as a base. Or you can use local coordinates, where you can enter known coordinates that you have placed your reference station on, such as a published monument or a previously surveyed point to localize to. Or you can read from file, where you can enter a known position using a file on your handheld that is not part of the current job. If you click on the From New Position tab, you are given the option of reading a point from GPS, which will calculate a point based on the user-defined number of satellite views or a set duration of time. Or you can choose Enter Latitude Longitude, where you can enter a geodetic coordinate from a known monument. Or you can use Enter Grid System Coordinates to enter a northing and easting based on your current projection grid. For this example, we will use Read from GPS. This will take you to the average GPS position screen. Here you are given the option of calculating your position by a user-defined number of satellite views or by a certain amount of time. Selecting the GPS Monitor button will allow users to check the current navigation status. Once you have entered how you would like your reference station to read from GPS, select the green arrow button at the top of the screen. This will initialize the reading of your receiver's GPS position. On the screen, you will see the number of valid readings that have been recorded and used to calculate your position, or the amount of remaining time if you are using a time duration to calculate your position. You are also shown the number of available satellites and the status of your signal solution type, followed by a horizontal and vertical standard deviation value. If you reach a solution type that you are satisfied with before your receiver records the required number of satellite views, or the allotted amount of time has passed, you can select the Stop Averaging and Store button to manually store your position based on the readings that it has calculated so far. If you are not satisfied with the way NavCom SurvCE is calculating your position, you can select Cancel Averaging to redo the process. Once your device has successfully calculated your position, you'll be asked to assign a broadcast ID. This is a unique ID number which you can then use to identify your reference position in the future. You are also shown the latitude, longitude, and ellipsoidal height that was calculated using the solution. If you are satisfied with your readings, select the Yes button, and NavCom SurvCE will configure your base using the new reference station coordinates and display a notification telling you the configuration was successful and asking if you would like to save the settings to a file. It is recommended that you select Yes, so you can return to these settings easily should you return to this job. You will then be taken to the base station file screen, where you can assign a name to your base station reference file, or use the default file name which will coincide with the name of your project. Once you have named your reference file correctly, select the green checkbox at the top of the screen. You will now end up back on the job menu, and will need to configure your GPS Rover and set up its UHF radio as a linked device. To do this, click on number 3 GPS Rover, which will take you to the GPS Rover settings screen. Under the Current tab, you can select your Rover's manufacturer from a drop-down list, and then use the Model drop-down list to locate the correct model of your receiver. Now configure your Rover receiver the same way you did your reference receiver. Once all your link device and Rover settings have been set, select the green checkbox at the top of the screen. Once NavCom SurvCE is done configuring your Rover, you will be back on the job menu. To verify your receivers are communicating and you are receiving RTK corrections from the base station, click on the number 7 Monitor Sky Plot button. Here you will see your receiver status, which should display an RTK fixed solution. Below this, you will see additional information about your position. The Monitor Sky Plot menu will be discussed in detail in a separate video. To return to the job menu, simply press the left arrow button at the top of the screen. You are now ready to begin surveying.